Hello, my name is Ken Colgan with CAD Tech Seminars. You can find us on the web at thebimguys.com. Many times people ask me, what is Revit and how can it affect my life and make my life easier? I'm an AutoCAD user and I'm good at AutoCAD, so do I need Revit? First of all, we do not sell Autodesk software. We are an independent consultant, trainer, and support team. What we do is we help you use Revit better, also Navisworks and AutoCAD. For the past few years, I've been teaching about 90% Revit and Navisworks and only a few percent of AutoCAD. So the industry is moving toward BIM, which is Building Information Modeling. And I'm going to show you an example why using Revit, it's actually is a BIM product to make life easier. Now in this instance, we're going to use a small little building. Let's say it's a mother-in-law building in the back or a little supplemental building in the backyard, or just a small building, fishing camp, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to go to Revit now, and I'm going to open it on up. Now here we are in Revit, and I did a moment of setting up, just for a moment. Let's say this little auxiliary building that's going in the back. You'll see here that here's maybe our property, and here's where we kind of lay out where we think we want the building. Now, just for ease in this presentation, I did throw some dashed lines down, so it was easy for me to actually draw the building. Now, in reality, you would probably just go on over and you'd say, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do a sketch. So you may come over here and say, okay, I want my little building and I want it to maybe look like this. I'm thinking I have the kitchen over here, and I'm thinking maybe the bedroom over here, maybe with a bath and a closet here. This would be bath, closet. This would be living. Okay, maybe we want it to look like this from the side. We have a nice porch. Okay. Well, however you want to lay it out, right? So you probably sketch some things out, just like just about anybody does, sketch on a napkin, whatever it needs to be. And now let's take it and bring it into Revit and see how fast we can make this happen. Now here we are in Revit, and if we were to start the clock, let's see how fast we can make this happen. So the first thing we want to do is we want to set up our elevations. Now, I know that sounds crazy if you've never done it in AutoCAD before, but I'm going to hit the south view. And you'll see in here when I zoom in, we actually have a roof and a second floor. Let's say it's a one-story building, so we'll take that out. And we'll say our roof is going to be, let's say, at 9 feet. What that's going to be is our three-dimensional marker. And there we go. Now back to our floor plan. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and using Revit, we're going to decide what type of wall type we'll use. So I'll start the wall command. I drop this down and I come in here and I say I want an exterior wall. And many of these can be preset for your company. So if you have them set up, you can set the information that you need. Height up to roof. Okay, exterior wall, exterior wood siding, and wood stud. I'm going to place this and say follow the finished face exterior, and I'm going to walk around the building. All right. Now we're working our way on around. It's a beautiful thing. And what that's done is giving us our exterior wall. Now we'll check it out in 3D. You can see here we actually have the walls in place. Now over to the side I do have some libraries, and a lot of people do this in AutoCAD, and it's actually quite effective when you're doing it in Revit also. And I'll show you how we'll use that in a little bit. So there's our walls, and if I was to grab that wall, you'd see that Revit says that wall goes up to 9 feet. Let's go back to first floor. Now if we want to change it to 10 feet, we can actually grab all the walls and say go up to roof plus, or we can just actually go to south elevation, and I'll do it quickly. I take the roof here and I say change it to 10 feet. So what that does is, notice how it brought the wall up. It'll even bring the roof. I'll show you in a moment. So there we go. So we got the basic floor plan outline down. And let's go ahead and put some interior walls in. So I'll come over here, wall, drop this down, wall, and skip over that. And we'll say this time we use an interior wall. So I'm going to use this wall here, which is 4.5 inches. I'll come over here and I'm going to trace over some of these markers I already have in here. Go ahead and do that from wall face. Okay. So we're just going to use maybe here, go up to here, and come over here. And again, I'm tracing over these because maybe I already kind of laid out what I needed to have in here. So I'm just doing this for quick, easy. I come in here. We're going to put in a little closet. So there we go. So we put in some interior walls, drag that down. Now let's go ahead and put some doors in. I hit the door button, and this is very similar to Legos, if you want to think of that. Revit is object driven, which means it's pretty much a digital Lego set. You come in and you are able to put in whatever Legos you want and pop them in like so. So there's a door. We'll pick another door now. So again, playing with Legos, we decide what Legos we want. Now if you don't have the right Lego, you can actually go and load Legos, which are quite nice. I'm using the word Legos. They're actually families. but anytime you need to, you can just go load them in. So I'm going to continue putting doors in. Now, I come down here and you'll notice that we have lots of doors. Each one has a type, and then it actually has different sizes. So the interior, I'll say let's use a 30-inch door. Maybe go into the bedroom here. We'll flip that. Maybe we'll bring a 30-inch into the here and then also in here. Now you can change the doors to whatever you want. I'm just putting doors in quickly so they're falling in place. If you don't like the actual swing of the door, there's lots of adjustments we can make. You can see we can flip them like so, just by flipping the door around, adjusting how it looks, or graphically we can even take these doors. Go ahead and flip that back, and I'll flip this one again. Let's say that's what we want, but I can switch it to, let's say, 45. So graphically, we can also change how these doors view in the drawing. So I may hit this, and now let's go ahead and flip that door back. Okay, so I've quickly added that. So now what we have is, let's go ahead and add a door to the closet, and we pop that in. So there we go. Now, at this point, if we wanted to put in, let's say, a toilet, we go up top. I can scroll down over here, and you'll see we have a thing called families. When we open up the families bucket, you'll see we have lots and lots of parts in here. I'm going to scroll on down to plumbing, and under the plumbing, again, think of these as Legos. I come in here and I want a toilet. Click, hold, drag, and drop it. There's a toilet, and you stick it where you need it. Okay. I'll then bring in a tub. Click on the tub, drag it, and drop it. You'll see the tub's coming in, and I place it in the space there. All right, now I need some casework, so let's go up top. We'll throw a cabinet in there. Let's go get a vanity. Maybe a 36-inch vanity, drag and drop. You'll see it stuck to your cursor as in the space bar rotates around, which is quite handy. I'm going to bring it on in and place it. So there we go. All right, so we're about 5 minutes in, and you'll see we have a basic little plan here of what's happening. Now, if you wanted to take that vanity, you can go fancier with it. You could drag in a countertop. These countertops, or this vanity top, has a certain height and different aspects of it, and they're squishy, if you want to use that word. I know it's not a technical word, but you can see how these elements are actually easily manipulated as we move this around. So as we adjust the elements, let's say I want to make this smaller, I can drag it in, and there we go. So what's actually happening? We're actually building this in 3D. Notice we're actually putting the doors in, we're putting the toilets in. We didn't put a sink in, it's just a hole right now. But you can see how these elements are being placed in the model. I'm going to go back, let me get back to my plan view, go back up top. There's some quick keys I'm hitting over here that just caused an issue. Now, if we want to get rid of something, let's say take that top and delete it out, we can. So there are elements how you can manipulate as needed. So I need to move the toilet over. You can also use which is nudge. So now let's go ahead and we'll start putting in some windows. Now we can go over here and go to Window Set. And the nice thing about Windows, you can download them off the internet for different manufacturers. You can also load your own and create your own and bring them in. Let's say I want to bring a window, maybe 3 windows in. I'm going to place it maybe right here, maybe for the body kitchen area. And then over here, maybe in the bedroom, I'll place some different windows. So we're going to go here and let's say, so we'll do this one with a transom and we'll pop them in. So we'll bring the windows in and place them. And I'll go ahead and place this other one. You'll see how they come in and then you just plop them on in nice and neat. We will in a moment tag them and schedule them, but as of now, just go ahead and put it in. So quickly I was able to get a base floor plan down. If I want to add some dimensions, I could put some dimensions in. Now I didn't verify what this was before, so the dimensions might be a little random as you can see, but I've got a certain size there. Now we're right, let's say at about 8 minutes. Let's go ahead and add some furniture. Now the thing about furniture is if you have it sitting to the side like this from other projects, simple furniture can then be just brought and dragged and dropped in. So I'd bring some furniture in just real quick. These are actually with their own families, their own blocks of information. So we can bring them in and I'll nudge it into place. So this is giving us the ability to quickly populate this. Now we can even do some fancy things in Revit. There are things like shelving units. You grab this here and I'm going to actually make a new one. I come in and I place it and I can actually draw that shelf unit. Now I drew it off the wall a bit, so let's go ahead and move it into place. All right. So that is actually a shelf unit, and when we cut a section, you'll see how nice that looks. If you're a mirror person, you're like, I've used all these mirror commands in AutoCAD. Can I do that? Yes. I'll say mirror, pick point, and I'll pick the center of that door, and it'll flip it on over that way. So there's our shelving. Now, what about kitchens? Well, if you have, if you're doing a lot of similar houses like this, you may decide that, hey, we've got 5 or 6 kitchens that we like. Instead of recreating that whole kitchen over and over again, what you can do is make a block of it. If you're an AutoCAD person, you'll see over here I have 2 or 3 different kitchen styles that we've laid out, discussed, and we're happy with. So let's say I want to take this kitchen. I'll take this kitchen and I'll just copy it from this point to this point. So some of the stuff that you do in AutoCAD, you can do here. Now, the difference is, though, let me go ahead and put a floor in first. I'm going to come over here and I put a floor for the kitchen to sit in. So I'm going to place a floor. I go up top and I place a floor. Now, what do floors do for us? Well, a couple of things. To actually put a horizontal plane down, so in 3D we can see it, and also it'll give us the square footage of the building. So I'm going to say pick walls. I'm going to touch the edge of the building and I pick it. At that point we create what's called a floor. Now if you're wondering what the square footage of your building is, if you pick that floor like I'm doing here, we're exactly 1,050 square feet. So that's what our little building is at this point. I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to go ahead and grab that kitchen, and I'm going to go ahead and grab it and hit copy from that point, just like if you're in AutoCAD again, and I come over here and I bring it in. Okay, so here we are. Now we're at almost 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see what we have. Let's go to 3D. So in 3D, notice we have a kitchen built into place. We have a bathroom, we have a closet with shelves, and we have bedroom with furniture. Now, the cool thing about this is the owner or yourself can make changes quickly. So let's take a look at how we'll do that now. I'm going to go back to the first floor, and just quickly I'll bring some more furniture in. Let me just go ahead and put that in there so we have something. Now, before we didn't have any sections, but let's take a look what's happening. We don't have any sections, so let's go ahead and cut a section. If I cut a section through the building, I'll start right here, and I'll drag through the door like so. Now, when I hit escape and I double click on the blue head, you'll see there is there's our kitchen. There's our back door. There is our bathroom and bedroom door. Let's turn it up to fine, and you'll see a little bit more detail on this model here. So it's showing us what's happening in the model here. If you want to get fancy, you can go to shaded. It'll actually shade it for you so you can see what's happening in the model. Now we're going to get a little fancier in a moment. Let's say we want to experiment with some roofs. The owner said, hey, it'd be nice if we had a roof. Maybe I want a hip, maybe I want gable. Let's try that out. I'm going to go to a roof plan here. You want to go to roof plan, don't freak out, but you notice you can't see the model. It's because it's pretty much on a different level, which is below. I'm going to quickly come down here and switch this over to a view range, or what's a view depth. I'm going to say show the first floor underneath it. So it's going to show the first floor and I can see it underneath. Now let's say according to our design, we want to maybe overlay it or have an overhang about a foot. So we start the roof command, roof by footprint. That's the one we'll be using now. And I'll say pick walls with a 1 foot overhang. I hover and I pick here and I pick here, and I can walk it around. Now if I walk it all the way around, we'll say no porch at first here. So I'll walk it around like so. When I hit finish, Revit builds a roof based on that information. Let's check it out in 3D. So notice now we actually have, click in the view and we'll spin around. Notice how we have our little building. Now on some of these you'll notice we have some shutters. I'm going to go ahead and turn the shutters off. So we have the ability to turn shutters off, turn it off. Maybe the owner doesn't want shutters, and we'll turn the shutters off again. Okay, so the shutters are off, and I think I did pick the wrong window there. So let me go ahead and spin around for a moment. There's a tool called Match Properties, which I can, just like in AutoCAD, I can take an object, go up top, modify, Match Properties, and I'll say take this window and match it. Notice how it's here and here. The trim didn't go around because sometimes we bump them together, have double or triple windows. So notice how we're quickly able to create our little building now. Let's say the owner says, you know what, I'd like a window back here so I'm in the kitchen, I could look out. We'll go back to our first floor, and we'll bring in a window. Now I've got some sitting over here already. I just grabbed this one, CS it. That says create similar, and I'll come in, I'll maybe place it maybe over here somewhere and place the window in. Maybe we want 2 windows, we'll place them in, that's fine. Let's go check out our building in 3D again, and you'll see now it's added those 2 windows in. Windows do have a front and back, as you can see. Water would dribble in right here because we flip it with the space bar. Now the window is in correctly. You can also note the trim. Let's check out our elevations. We have an east elevation. There it is. Done. Okay. We have a south elevation. We have a north elevation. And we have the different elevations. So as we go around the building. So quite nice. Now with this also, you may say, well, we want to change the roof around. So I'm going to do this in 3D so we can see it in action. First thing I'm going to do is take all the exterior walls, and I'll say all you walls attached to the roof. That's going to let us play with some fun games now. So now I'm going to take the roof, And by being able to manipulate the roof, I'll take it and I'm going to hit edit the footprint. Now, and then we're not training here. I just want to show you some things we can do. I'll tell Revit to take these two edges and no slope view. So what it's going to do now is, and I'll also tell this one and this one, let's say no slope, no slope. Okay, so what I've done is I've said these two edges now become slopes. I hit finish the model and see how it actually changed the model a bit. You'll notice that since we use this wall in the slope, it brought it down too far. We're having crashes. One of the nice things is we can change the slope. Change the slope and see how it's adjusting the building. We can raise the roof. We can adjust the roof. Let's say raise it up 3 feet. Notice how the roof comes up. So quickly we can make adjustments to what we want with our design here. So that really makes it nice working in Revit. Now let's take a look at our elevations. So there's our elevations. They've totally all updated based on the information that we just brought in. Now, if you want to show color, you can go shaded, and you'll see how our building is now shown in some type of color. We can even set it to realistic, which will actually show us the colors like they're rendered out. So we have a rendered view like that. So the materials are actually shown realistically. So in this instance, you can see how we can quickly modify the building, move things around. And let's go back to the first floor. Maybe the owner wants to see what does it look like if he's sitting on his couch. Let's take a look. I'm going to pull a camera. Pick a point here and I drag through, and now I can actually see the kitchen and how the different areas set up. I can even go to shaded, and we can even go to, so we can see the colors. If you want to get fancy, we can even turn on sun and shadows, where you can see the shadows and sun outside. Now, depending on the direction of the sun, it may not be showing through these elements. So let's try another camera. I'll set another camera up. I'll start from over here, and I'll pull across in this direction. You'll see we're seeing across the building here. We can change the design at any point, even if we're in 2D or 3D. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead in here and go to shaded again. Let's go to realistic and see what we get. So there's our model. I may decide that these walls need to go up to the roof. We just hit attach to the roof, and you'll see they go up. So if you wanted to have that type of design, you can see what's happening in the building. So quite a nice little feature there, and we can spin around and move around and see what's happening in our model. Let's go back here. Now, we've got all this stuff in, and let's say we want to put, let's say what we have. Okay, so we're going to cruise on down to our sheets. And being that we've preset some of the stuff up, which is nice because you can do it with a template in Revit, if I go to my first floor plan, you'll notice that there's the first floor plan sitting on the sheet. Now, we can turn off and crop the regions just like anything else. I can go to a roof plan. There's my roof plan sitting on a sheet. Okay, we can go to elevations, and you'll notice that the elevations are on the sheet. All this stuff is being calculated as we move forward. So now the other question that comes up is how can I utilize this for quantity takeoffs? Let's go back up to our floor plan and we'll run some quick things on here. On this floor plan, let's say we want to tag all of our doors. We'll go up top and hit annotate, and we hit a button called tag all. What I'm going to tell Revit to do is I'm going to pull it in the screen so you can see it. I'm going to say tag all doors, tag all windows, and we hit OK. You'll see how they're all tagged now. We can renumber them as needed, but you can see how the information has been tagged. So sometimes, depending on where they are, you may have to move them out. But you'll notice how the database has already taken care of this for us. So now we've got our windows nice and neat. Let's take a look at some other features now. Now that we have all this stuff quantified, what about rooms and square footages? We can go up top in architecture and say place rooms. I say place a room. I'll say I'm going to pan place the rooms in here. Let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if we're doing square footages, we want to figure out the kitchen separate from the dining room, we can use what's called the room separator, and I'll just draw maybe from here to here. By doing that, you'll notice this room here, when I hover over it and I hit tab, you'll notice that room is a little bit smaller now, and we'll put another room up top. So we can quickly quantify the rooms based on that information. So quite nice there. So now it's all annotated. Now, the question came up was, what about the information about, let's say, schedules? Schedules, we'll start with the door schedule. I fire up the door schedule, see the door schedule is already coming into play. The door number, type, manufacturing information can be filled out ahead of time. So when I drop the door in, it would know that it's a certain, let's say, particular door. Maybe it's a Pella door, a certain window. As you work down here, you'll see room finish schedule. See, we put 5 rooms in. The rooms are queued up for their scheduling. Now, it was also asked about quantity of certain things like walls. Now, if I hit wall schedule, I want you to notice what it's giving us. The exterior wood siding on wood stud there's 2,225 square feet of that wood siding. On the interior, we have 749 square feet of the 4.5 inch. Now, what happens if we make a change? I'm going to go up to first floor. Remember, 4749, excuse me. Go back here. I'm going to take this wet wall right here, and I'm going to change it because it's not supposed to be 4.5. Let's say we want it to be 6.5. I go ahead and fire that up. Now, that quick, you say, well, I really didn't see much happen. It's very subtle. Let's go ahead and verify that it changed it. It didn't, so let's go ahead and change it. All right, notice it changed it. Now I might have to make an adjustment because of the wall, but just what you'll need to do. Now, let's go back to our schedules. Go back to the schedules here, and you'll see it says wall schedule. I want you to notice that now we have 79 feet of a 6.5 inch wall. So we can quantify it that way, depending on how you like to quantify data. Now, some people say, well, can you just tell me how many sheets of gyp or sheetrock do we need? Let's take a look at multi-category takeoff. You have the ability here to tell Revit to rip out the materials. So it went to all the walls and ripped out the gyp. So right now we have 3,720 square feet of gyp. Now we have those interior walls that go up, and we also have the exterior walls that go up. And let's take a look at how we can change that. I'm going to go back to my design, go back to 3D, not worry about that. And I'm going to change this back to, I'm going to change the roof again, edit footprint. I'm going to take this side here and take this side here, both these sides, and I'm going to change them back to slope. And we'll leave the gable over here, so hit finish. See how it redesigned the roof. Now we got some weird design here because of the numbers that I chose, but let's go back and try that again. Edit footprint. Okay, so we'll take this guy, we'll leave him with no slope, divide slope, nope, and we'll add a slope here, add a slope here, and we'll leave one here. Let's go ahead and finish on that. Try that again. Got a mess up here. This little roof here. So let's go ahead and fix that now. Back to edit footprint, and we'll add a slope and a slope. Okay, hit finish. And notice how the roof has now been rebuilt. Now, the numbers are always also going to update. I'm going to drop the roof down. It's up by 3 feet. Let's drop it down to 0 again, so it's right where it needs to be. And let's check our numbers. So now, see, it changed the elevation, changed the look of the building, changed the design. All that has been changed dynamically. Back to the schedules, and we'll go to our wall finish schedule. And notice how the numbers have all changed. Remember, we had 700 and some odd square feet of interior wall partition. Now it's changed. The exterior wall has changed. The interior wall is about the same because where it was before. If we go to category takeoff, we can actually tell it what to take off. Now currently it's pulling the gyp board, but here's where it gets nice. We can create multiple schedules that actually pull different data. Let's say the guy that does the outside says, hey, how much Tyvek and how much siding do I need? We come over here to sorting and grouping, and we actually can tell Revit to go find certain materials, right? Now I'm going to say filter out, and I'm going to say go find all of the siding. So we come on down here, and we then pick, let's say, siding, clapboard. When we hit OK, Revit then recalculates and tells us exactly how much siding we need. That is 1,736 square feet of siding. So that is how we can quickly do the numbers in Revit. So really, this is what BIM is, building information modeling. We put the information in, Revit quantifies it and gives it back to us. So we could actually start adding numbers on here. So if we knew that the person who put on, let's say, the siding charges, let's say, $10 a square foot, we could go over here to our fields, we could add a calculated field in, and actually go in here and say, take the area of the walls, multiply it by $10, and it would give us the total cost. So you can actually build those in here, and this is what's called the calculated value. So it would take a while to go ahead and set all that up. I'm going to pass on that, but you can see how we have it all set up. Now as the owner comes in and decides, okay, I'm ready, notice the first floor is set up, the roof plan set up, the elevations are set up, the schedules are set up. All this stuff is ready to go. So things that you've done a lot over and over and over in AutoCAD, it may take a whole day, may take a lot less now in Revit. So that took about 20 minutes, plus or minus, to do that presentation. But you can see how we started pretty much from nothing. We're able to create a model, then quantify it, and get our numbers out quickly. So that's really the advantage of BIM and or Revit. If you have questions or comments, feel free to check us out on the web, thebimguys.com.